Things are only getting worse for Rachel Zegler and the Walt Disney Company. Projections for Snow White's opening weekend are absolutely crashing, as audiences aren't cashing in on more deconstruction of traditional values. Made for a market that mostly doesn't exist, Snow White could be the biggest indictment on what the Burbank wokesters once thought you'd be fully bought into for 2025. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great day to be live with you. Welcome to Friday. Hope you're having a good one, and it is a wonderful weekend ahead, we hope, for each and every person listening. Folks, if you're new to the channel, we hope to earn your subscription at the very least. Maybe we can get a like button click out of you. That would be nice, as we get started, and we shall take a look inside of that part place. And it says Disney's Snow White box office projections plunge even lower. That's right, this movie was already on pace to be a disgrace at the box office, but now, well, it could be just on, it could be on par with how much dislike it's been receiving online in terms of those trailers, right? We were wondering, would the massive, historic dislikes raining down upon each trailer translate into box office collapse? It looks like it is just that. Just when it seemed like the box office outlook for Snow White couldn't get worse, new projections indicate that the film is set to open even lower than initially expected. According to a leading Hollywood research firm, the live-action remake is now tracking for a $53 million opening weekend in North America, with estimates ranging between $48 and $58 million. This is a significant drop from earlier forecasts, which had projected $63 to $70 million for its debut. With just 3 weeks until its March 21st release, Disney's final marketing push is now in full swing, but whether it can change the trajectory remains to be seen. While some tracking services remain optimistic, pointing to supposed strong awareness among younger female audiences, these numbers represent a serious problem for a film of this scale. It goes on to talk about, and with accuracy, folks, and with truth, something you don't find on some of the websites out there, that this probably has a break even of about $800 million for this film. The movie, you see, in terms of just production, is likely over $300 million. And the marketing, I got to say, I think Disney's pulled back a little bit on the marketing. So somewhere around $400 million, probably what they spent. It could be north of that, but $400 million, let's call it for the sake of ease, $800 million is what this thing needs. Now, if it makes only $48 to $58 million in its domestic opening, then we are looking at something that would contest with perhaps Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny or The Marvels for biggest flops of all time. And I think The Marvels, honestly, is the biggest flop in the history of cinema. So not good for Disney, especially on the heels of Captain America Brave New World. And if you have not yet seen us dissect the fact that Mufasa is indeed a financial failure, a flop for Disney, well, we'll have another video out this weekend talking about that. Now, what exactly is going on here? Why is it that Disney's foundational princess, the very first, the one that Walt started everything with, why is it that this movie is not popular? Well, Kimmy Robinson out of USA Today says, Rachel Zegler diplomatically addresses Snow White's skepticism. People are so passionate. And what that tells me is that Zegler has been trained up this time, right? Somebody finally has sat down with her and said, here's how we're going to handle this. And we're not going to apologize because that then draws the counter controversy, but we're going to accept the criticism and we're going to try to spin it into a positive. All right. Now remember that this movie has been buried with the trailers getting dislike ratios like you've never seen on YouTube. No one's ever seen anything like this. And it's because of Rachel Zegler. She came out and said all of these horrible, terrible things. Now, granted, the dwarves look awful, and they should have just been real people who have real dwarfism, and those people need to work. So, but fair enough, the movie looks terrible, but Zegler has just been a firebrand on fire for destroying everything that Disney's trying to do. She's called the Princess Stalker. She said that the original is dated, just on and on and on and on. We can keep going. Zegler is being as diplomatic now as a real-life princess when it comes to some fans' skepticism, the vast majority, of the upcoming live-action remake of Snow White, and specifically her participation in it. One another thing that Zegler said, don't forget that before anyone even knew who Zegler was, she was out there declaring that she's not going to bleach her skin for Snow White. Good grief. Good grief. She says, I interpret people's feelings about this film as passion for it. And what an honor to be able to be a part of something that people are so passionate about. She said in a cover story for Vogue Mexico, we're not always going to have the same feelings as everyone around us, and all we can do is give it our best, she said, which is very princess-esque. The only problem is that if we go back over here to that Park Place and we remember, this thing's on track to make like mid $50 million in its domestic opening, well, that reveals maybe there's no passion at all for this. And that is the most terrifying thing that Disney could be facing, people uninterested. How does this compare? Well, The Little Mermaid, which was a financial failure, as outlined by Caroline Reed of Forbes, debuted with $95.6 million. Ooh, a flop that's already been identified in the mainstream as having been a loss for Disney will double, essentially, Snow White. Ooh, Cinderella, which was not a great success, opened to $67 million at the time, and that was back in 2015 when tickets were about half the price. So today, Cinderella would have made something like 130 million. I mean, the limited number of people going to see this is impressive. And folks, if you want to see why, it's not just that the movie looks terrible. I mean, this is a cacophony of crap that has caused this. And it's a trap for Disney, by the way. So at some point, they should have scrapped all of this and started over, completely over. And maybe they did, but I'm talking about completely down to the root. Everything, just toss it and start over. If you want to see why Disney is struggling right now, it's not just that the movie looks terrible. It's not just that Zegler has said such horrible things. It's not just that it's aimed to be sort of this woke femme fatale anthem film that reimagines the classic that Walt started, which is sort of the transmogrification of everything that Disney is built upon. But it's also that they can't even acknowledge romance. Look at this full soundtrack list that's been released for Snow White. I want to show you the difference between this and the original. Good things grow. Then good things grow again. Waiting on a wish. Hi-ho. All is fair. Whistle while you work. Princess problems. Well, that sounds like something Snow White would sing about, right? Princess problems. Something to do with you. All is fair again. Waiting on a wish again. Snow White returns, which is probably an instrumental, and the finale, which is good to grow again. Interesting. Let's see what's missing. Folks, if we go to the original Snow White soundtrack, I'm wishing, not waiting on a wish. And what was Snow White wishing for? Well, in the original Snow White, she was wishing for true love. She was wishing to meet the arbiter of proper masculinity to come into her life with whom she could fall in love and start a family. That's what the movie is about. Then one song, then with a smile in a song, Whistle While You Work, Hi-Ho, the washing song, the silly song, Someday My Prince Will Come. Again, folks, the original soundtrack to Snow White features the message. And the message that is timeless is that it's okay to want to have a monogamous, romantic relationship that will fulfill many of the things that you're looking for in life, and which can be the starting point to a wonderful family experience. And if you were to ask people, what are the things in life that bring the most meaning and the most special value to their lives? Family's up there. And guess what? You need to find somebody that you can share your life with in order to start that family, ideally. The fact that they got away from that with the ideological stuff, the idea that Snow White, at least in the original way that they shot this, according to Zegler, was not about a prince. He might as well not have even been there. It completely reimagines what Snow White is, what Snow White's about, and it might as well not even be called Snow White at that point. She's not wishing for true love. She's not wanting to find her prince who will come one day. And what is wrong with that, by the way? What is wrong with the idea of princes as well, hoping that they'll find a princess? There's not a darn thing wrong with it, because throughout the history of humanity, we've all been looking for a special person to share special times of life with. There's never been a thing wrong with it. Disney dove into the ultra woke Kool-Aid punch bowl, and audiences are going to punch them right back in the snout and say, we doubt we're going to go see Snow White. And that's a sad place for them to be. Big loss on the way here. And when you combine this with Captain America Brave New World and the losses that both of these are going to accrue together, and then Thunderbolts after that, wowza. That next earnings call for Disney could be a bloodbath. They earned it, though. They earned it. And for years, we've been telling them they're on track for exactly what is happening now. Folks, that is the video for this Friday in the PM. We'll be bringing you even more. We've got some interesting info when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy. People out there saying she'll never retire. Well, she won't retire from filmmaking, she says. But Lucasfilm, that's something entirely different. All right, folks. Click the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And until the next time we have the honor and the joy of spending time with you, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
What? What? I put out a tweet of a fat minority with a booger in her nose, and I said, "This is an empowered woman." And Katako retweeted it.
You don't have your own X account, do you?
Oh, well, I actually created it a while ago. The greatest troll I've pulled off in a long time. Do you know how many things I've secretly tanked?
Oh gosh, I hope not. That would make me legally culpable. But, what are you talking about?
Sweet Baby Inc.
Huh?
Yep. I'm the...
Shut up.
I'm the CEO. Yeah, no, seriously, look, this is my profile picture. Everyone's just AI. It's great. I'm so excited to gaslight everyone and see what they're gonna like next because they think it's socially obligated.
Wait, so you're... No way, you're the CEO of Sweet Baby Inc.?
Maybe. But first, you should see the jewelry company I created.
We're gonna get sued.
It's gonna be good.